Nobody likes paying fees. Fees suck. It's money going out the door and you're never going to see it again. Knowing fees ahead of time will allow for you to understand what's going to happen, establish your bottom line, and raising issues early in the negotiations so that you're both on the same page with the buyer on where you are profitable and where you're not profitable. Their job is to get you to the lowest price. Walmart is rolling back prices. You want to be, at the end of the day, in a place where you can make money, where you can have a win-win scenario, and where you know the costs that are coming down the line before you hear about them. Knowing the slotting fees and discussing the slotting fees up front is going to be very important to any negotiation. When using advertising as a barter tool, that can create a win-win. So if you're across from the buyer and they say, we're going to need 20 cents per slot to get the product on the shelf, and that's going to come out to $2 million. You can say, what if we cut that down to $1 million? And I have $1 million placed into advertising to promote the product, to move the product off the shelf. That might be a great barter system so that they can have their $2 million mark at the end of the day. You're going to move more product at the end of the day, and they're going to sell more product in the end. Knowing how to negotiate that is going to be the best tool that you can have when going into those meetings. Paying slotting fees does not always mean that your product will sell. You can have the best spot in the world, your product may fall on its face. A million different reasons. But if you're willing to pay slotting fees, that's a different story altogether. Knowing what your line in the sand is and knowing how much you're willing to risk on your product being successful is going to be a very useful tool, just as important as your bottom line when going into negotiations. You're also going to need to be prepared for any other fees associated with this. If you get handed a 10-page document from Walmart with terms and conditions, you're going to want to make sure that a lawyer reviews that before you sign it. If you get handed a document that says return policies and you're responsible for the product flying off the shelf, you're responsible for any stolen product, and you're responsible for any returns, you're going to want to know that offhand because you need to build that into your bottom dollar pricing. So knowing all of these numbers ahead of time and how that retailer plans to pay you is going to be incredibly important when going into the negotiations. Have all of these scenarios completed in your head. Have all of the numbers completed. Know that it could be coming down the line, and know that if that is the case, if they do need slotting fees, that you need to increase your bottom line a little bit to cover that. And you're going to need to tap into your friends and family or into your bank or into any lender to cover the slotting fees necessary if you don't have the cash on hand.